Before you have children of your own, when you hear other parents talking about how they would do anything for their child, you listen. You hear what they are saying. It's only after you become a parent that you really understand what that means. You would do whatever you needed to do for your child. And when your child has a disability, you need to do even more.
There's a small not-for-profit organization that arranged to help this little boy that they found in an orphanage in China. He was going to come to New York for cleft lip and palate repair. So I volunteered to help out, and it was going to be a 3-4 week proposition that he would be staying with me. I was somewhat taken aback after a week with him, and he was here for a week, and we were seeing doctors every day to get him prepped for surgery. And then to have him taken from my arms and, wheeled into the operating room was an incredibly emotional moment, and I wasn't prepared for that. That was kind of how quickly I knew that it would, if I can't do that, how am I going to send him back to an orphanage in China? I had a lot of help in getting the adoption officially done. I guess it was about a year into that Henry was always getting early intervention for speech and physical therapy. He didn't walk till he was 2. That it became evident that he may have autism spectrum disorder as well. So, that's just something that we've been dealing with, but he's getting incredible care. He's making great progress, and he's a very happy little boy. I guess I did have a moment where I could have stepped away. A birth parent probably wouldn't have that, but I was a volunteer. But emotionally, I couldn't do that. We were a family. There wasn't any choice for me. He was already my son. And you do what you need to do. You get them the care that they need, and you give them the support that they need, and you love them. I feel that I'm very lucky to have him. We're a good team.
I have 2 older children. One is 8 years older than Chipper, and one is 10 years older. And Chipper's now 44. When Chipper came along, he was, so to speak, unusual right from the very beginning. And everybody picked up on it, and I saw differences, but I didn't want to, you don't want to believe it. When he was 4, pediatrician just very bluntly said to me, he's retarded, and he's never going to be any good to you or anybody else, and you need to put him away. But I had already been taking care of this child for 4 years, so I just continued in the way I was going. Miracles have happened in my case. When he was 4 and a half, AHRC was looking for children for the program down in the Martin DePorres Center, and we were in. Other children get older and they bathe themselves and things, dress them. I still do a lot of that that I shouldn't be doing, but he really has no skills. So you have to figure out whether he's physically ill or his emotions are getting the best of him, or he's too tired. And I think for him, to tell you the truth, there's a lot going on. I've been scolded and all that kind of thing, but I'm hanging in. Scolded about not placing him sooner. And if you speak to any of the mothers here, a lot of the mothers have had their children placed so long ago, but I'm still holding on. And I'm not a young woman anymore. It's hard because there's somebody in there that we don't know how to make come out, and how it comes out, when it comes out. I'm waiting, I'm watching. I hope to be able to be with him a long time.
Larry was a wonderful baby. He was my little pride and joy.
Oh, he was a great baby. He was a happy kid.
By 2 years old, he was spelling. He took interest in reading books. Then when Larry was about 3 years old, we noticed a big change in Larry. Larry would no longer look at you. He would, a week after that, stop reading. His vocabulary really wasn't there that much.
And we had him evaluated, and he was diagnosed with PDD-NOS, not otherwise specified. When you say autism, a lot of people say, oh, think right away nonverbal. But Larry's at the point where he's verbal enough to say what he's feeling, but sometimes things come out a little inappropriate because he's not socially aware of a lot of things.
We heard about this school. We told my wife, let's go check it out. He loves to come to school. The program here is wonderful, and we found the right school. But it's hard. But you deal with it. Some people deal with it in different ways. I've went through all the different ways, but I've learned to cope with it, and you deal with it. And Larry will be with me until I close my eyes.
And when your child has a disability, what you need to do never ends. Your devotion continues for all the days of your life.